Well, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome today's guest, Adam Smith, founder of the A-Game Consultancy. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you very much for having me, mate. Yeah, it's good to be here.
It is, and we've had your co-founder on before as well, right at the very beginning, a couple of years ago now, when we very first started this channel. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you've been up to ever since.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Let's get into it.
Well, I guess if people haven't come across A-Game before, what do you do? Where did it start? And what are your plans for the future?
Oh, okay. So to put it simply, we transform the lives of high performers. So, or to make it even more dumbed down, it's we help people feel better. So when people ask me this question, they say, imagine you're describing it to a 5-year-old, but recently I had to describe it to my partner's 92-year-old granddad. So, which was actually more tricky. So we use the internet to communicate. Anyway, it was far too complex. I said, we help people feel better. He said, oh, good for you. That's good. So ultimately, we break it down into a few different components. So there's mindset coaching, where we focus on all things habits, routine, resilience, overcoming different challenges in your life, relationships, that kind of thing. Then we have hypnotherapy and neurolinguistic programming, where we can do more of the work to eradicate limiting beliefs and looking at the destructive labels that people use. We're very hard on ourselves as people, so we help people almost rewire their minds in that way. Then we also do DNA testing, and we do nutritional therapy and blood testing, so we can find out what's going on underneath the hood. And we also do elements of personal training. So we give people programming to focus on their goals for high rocks or CrossFit or ultra athletes, doesn't really matter. And we put everything under one roof. So we truly believe there's not really many things, or if anything like it in the UK, because it's a whole holistic view to things, whilst also using some really good strategies and all that good stuff to get you towards where you want to go. So our outwards marketing, excuse me, is very much focused on removing alcohol, because I think that's the catalyst for a lot of people's problems. Not everyone's problems, of course, but I really think that's the gatekeeper to most people's misery. And if they do remove that, then we can look to sort of 10x the performance from there. So typical people we work with, CEOs, professional athletes, high performers, people that want to better themselves ultimately. It doesn't matter to me if you work at Tesco, quite frankly. I don't really care. If you want to be the best version of you, let's go for it. Let's do it. But typically the clientele that we tend to attract are the ones I mentioned previously. We also work with corporate businesses as well. And we do men's retreats too, which are the best things that we offer by a mile. So it started during COVID, and I had my own coaching business before A-Game. And I'm not really allowed to say this, but you don't have favorite clients per se, but I had people that I was very much looking forward to getting on the phone with, as I'm sure you can probably attest to as well. And one of them was my now business partner, Adam Mayhew. And another one was a third Adam, believe it or not, called Adam Hindley. So it wasn't just because they're all called Adam I wanted to work with them. They were just really infectious characters, and they had a great energy about them, and they were really passionate about what they were doing, but they were a bit directionless at the time, the pair of them. And me too. Even though I'd set up my own coaching business and it had gone quite well for the 6 months, I really missed being part of a team. And I didn't really see many people offering mindset coaching, personal training, and nutritional therapy under one roof at the time. So I asked them both, hey, I've got an idea to form a business. I think we could call it A-Game or something like that. This is how we're going to do it. This is who we're going to help. What are your thoughts? And instantly they both said, yeah, let's do it. So I was like, wow, that was an easy sell. So we set up during COVID. Everyone was at home. Everyone was pretty low and going through their own challenges, and everyone's on their phone and their laptop. So in that sense, the timing couldn't have been better. And then we're in year 5 now and going from strength to strength. So plans for the future, vast, really. You know, we started YouTube a couple of months ago, which takes around a year to see some real traction on there. We already have a podcast. We already have a great client base. And we're looking to expand further into the corporate market. And then we're going to look to do business coaching ourselves and potentially becoming accredited coaches where we can help other people become qualified. So if we can help people become qualified life coaches, not nutritional therapists per se, but they'll become an A-Game coach. So they can have a certificate, they can become qualified, then they can go out and serve others. So then we're going to put everything under one ceiling. So not only do you become a qualified coach, you also work on your health along the way. So you become the best entrepreneur and business owner that you can be, because you don't have to sacrifice your health, as you well know, in the name of building a business. And then we'll also show them how to market, how to sell, how to write better copy. So that will be a truly unique offering that, again, I don't see anyone else doing it right now. So that they're big plans for the future. But for right now, it's all about over-delivering for the clients that we do have and looking at new client acquisition along the way.
Love it. Fantastic. And do you have is there a methodology that you follow? So let's say I came to you and said, hey, Adam, I'm not feeling my best right now. Like, is there a process that you follow, or is it different for everyone?
Yeah, I mean, the initial stage is, let's say someone messages me on LinkedIn. I usually put my calls to action at the end of the posts. If I'll do the post, offer loads of value, and then I'll say, if you're looking to work with me privately, drop me a message saying ready. They might say ready. Thanks, John, for the message. What are the challenges that you're going through right now? Because I need to understand if I can help them first and foremost. And if I can't, I'll always happily refer them to somebody else in my network, because I've got a duty of care, I believe, even though I don't know them. It's just inherently within me to be compassionate and kind and empathetic. So if I can't help someone, I will always get them the help that they need. So let's say I want to stop drinking alcohol. I'm a bit overweight and I've got no motivation. No problem. Have you tried anything in the past to fix this? Yeah, I had a personal trainer before, but it didn't really work. Okay, what was it about that didn't work? Oh, it was a bit impersonal and they're a bit standoffish and I only saw them once every few weeks. It just didn't really work for me. No problem. Have you tried any other coaching in the past? No. What are you looking to get out of coaching? What's the desired end outcome? It's this. So I need to qualify them before I get on a sales call, because otherwise we're just wasting each other's time. So then I'll tell them what my prices start from. So everyone has a different view of this, but there's no dummy-proof method. If you get on a call with everybody, you're going to get some tire kickers that aren't willing to invest £100 a month into their health. I don't work with people like that. We charge high ticket. We charge upwards of £3,500 to £10,000, depending on what package that they go for. So we'll always disqualify people by giving an entry point. Say our prices for coaching begin at £2,000. Are you in a position to invest that financially? If they just say no, I say, okay, what's your budget? Where are you looking at? Oh, around the £500 mark. I'll give them some advice or a lower level coach that I'm aware of. If they say yes, we get on the call. Then we just need to elicit what their pains are. So again, barriers to entry. What hasn't worked for you in the past? Where do you want to go? Why not just go with a personal trainer again from Pure Gym? Because then they're already overcoming the objections in their mind. There's no tactics, it's no strategies. It's just asking good questions. So everyone, when they do sign up, has a vastly different set of challenges. So while what we offer is tailored to each person, we also know that there's probably 4 or 5 things that work for everybody. So we make it mandatory that you have to have a blood test or a DNA test under our A-Game umbrella, because we have to remove any bias, because most men especially go, I eat fine. It's all right. Well, fine isn't what we're aiming for, number one. And number two, I need to understand exactly what you're consuming right now, exactly how it's responding in your body. You might think that the bread and the pasta is doing you favors, when in actual fact it's having an adverse reaction. It may be that you're anxious because of the certain food groups that you're consuming, therefore you're not sleeping. That's why your energy is low. So I need to establish that first and foremost. Then we need to understand again, like, what's your desired end outcome? I've got limiting beliefs about myself. Where did the beliefs form? How did they begin, etc., etc. So to answer it, that's a very long-winded answer, but the short answer, mate, really is that everything is completely tailored to the client, because the troubles and the challenges they all experience are all unique to them. But at the same time, we know that certain things just work for everybody.
Yeah. And is everyone you work with trying to stop alcohol, or are some of them already there?
Yeah, this is the challenge that we face, right? Because a very high percentage of our posts are all centered around stopping drinking or taking a break because of the improvements it can have on your life. But it's not the only thing that we offer, and it's only a very small percentage of what we actually offer. So the reason why is it is a bit of a marketing tool, and it does work. So I'd say about 90% of people either, again, they're not alcoholics, right? They're not drinking 10 pints a night, but they may be having 2 or 3 on a weekend, wake up on Saturday feeling really groggy, probably a bit too hungover to drive the kids to football practice. Now they've had an argument with their partner when they were supposed to be going out on date night, but now they've had a fight, they cancel date night. And then it spills over into the Sunday, and then you go, well, I may as well go out with the boys again on Sunday night. And then so the pattern continues. So it's that kind of thing where people are just a bit stuck and they're a bit frustrated. So not everyone that comes to us with that has that problem. And equally, some people, that are alcohol free say, oh, you probably couldn't help me because I've already stopped drinking. It's like, we can definitely help you when it comes to mindset, DNA, habits, values, etc. So that's the downside. But every marketing strategy has downsides, and ours is that sometimes the perception is we either help alcoholics or that you have to stop drinking to work with us. Equally, we have some clients that don't stop drinking.
Yeah.
And they live perfectly happy and healthy lives because they can drink one on a Sunday night with dinner, and that's all they have, and they're good, no problem. We're not telling everyone that they have to stop drinking, but in our experience, a very high percentage of people, it is the catalyst for most of the problems that they have.
Yeah, it makes sense. What you mentioned High Rocks before, is that something that is a personal favorite of yours, or is it something that a lot of your gentlemen get involved with?
Sorry, mate, I missed the first 3 or 4 words of your question.
You mentioned High Rocks, which is a pretty popular form of exercise at the moment. Is that something that you do yourself?
Yeah, it's that style. I'm working towards competing this year. So I do that type of training because the thought of going into a gym and 3 sets of 10, rest for 3 minutes, 3 sets of 10, check your phone, 3 sets of 10, shall I just go to the sauna now? Is not for me whatsoever. I prefer just to go in, get absolutely beasted, get told what to do and leave. That's how I prefer to train. And then I can do my own mobility exercises before and afterwards and what have you. But yeah, it's a very, I wouldn't say it's a new phenomenon per se, but it's gaining more and more traction. They're becoming extremely popular. And I understand why, because it pushes you to your limits physically and mentally. Do you do it?
No, I haven't, no, but I mean, the marketing's fantastic because 5 years ago, I'd never heard of it. And now it's just sort of creeping up everywhere. And everyone seems to be having a try. But yeah, they've done an amazing job. It seems to have captured all the people that thought CrossFit was a bit too much of a cult, but they wanted to push themselves, but not get injured. So yeah, I think they've done a really good job.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because CrossFit, for me personally, my body doesn't always respond to heavy overload. So doing loads and loads of squats or loads of overhead presses and what have you, my body doesn't really respond to that. When you mix in the combination of the cardio and the body weight stuff like the burpees, and then you go into the row, and then you go into an 800 meter run and that what have you, I'm fine with that. So yeah, that's why that style is better for me. But yeah, CrossFit, at one point somebody took their top off during a workout, then everybody else just followed suit, and now when you go to CrossFit, people just take the t-shirt off to work out. Why? I have no idea. It's like an unwritten rule, you must take your top off when you go to CrossFit. Very strange, but yeah, anyway.
Brilliant. So what's the vision for A-Game? I speak to a lot of companies and they've got a vision, a strategy. They want to change 100 people's lives, or 100,000 people's lives, or 1 billion lives. So have you taken it that far? What's your mission?
It's changed, mate, to be honest, quite a few times. So we were building for an exit at one point, and we looked over the financials of where we'd like to be in a certain amount of time and what that would need, what revenue would need to be doing if we wanted to exit a certain amount of money. And if you were to exit, would I really be happy being told what I couldn't do potentially by an investor? Not really, because the very reason why I left employment was because it's not that I have a problem with authority. I have a real problem with being disrespected. And it's not to suggest every investor out there is disrespectful or anything of the sort, but the point being that I really like the autonomy of being able to just have a nap with my dog at 3 p.m. if I so wish. That's the freedom that I'm aiming for now. And, I've had the thoughts and the aspirations to be the UK's answer to Tony Robbins and the like, or a Les Brown or a Zig Ziglar or somebody like that, just to have an impact on millions. And I'm not against that either, to be honest. I just love helping people, mate. I love helping people and I love educating people, because I've got dyspraxia and I've got ADHD, and I know how shit it feels to sit in a classroom and feel like you have none of the answers. Even though intellectually you know them, you can't remember them. So I want to be able to teach and educate people on how to set up their business and how to maximize their potential with their health. So I guess we're still potentially looking at an exit. We haven't ruled it out, and we know it's going to be 2 to 3 years away, for instance, if we wanted to build it for a sale. Then what we'd look to do is, as I alluded to earlier, set up a different project that's away from the performance side, where it's about becoming an accredited coach. Then we'd do more public speaking gigs. We'd go on more podcasts. We'd set up masterminds, events, all sorts. So yeah, we've got a lot of big ideas. I'm certainly not looking to sell the business to validate me and to make a quick buck and then be on my merry way, because I think we need something to work towards, and I think we need that purpose and we need those goals to strive for. So yeah, I think it keeps changing, and Mayhew's view of things has changed slightly, my business partner, because he's had 2 sons in the last 3 years. I still don't have children. I'm coming up to 37 in April this year. So I'm in no rush. I'm still young. I'm still, as far as I know, fit and healthy. So yeah, it's I stopped looking too far ahead to the future because I've had big challenges in the past. Mm-hmm. So it hasn't really served me to live too far ahead of myself. And I study Stoic philosophy quite intensely, really, and living in the present, living in the now, and what can I do today to help move the needle? And I know you're a big fan of Stoic philosophy as well, right?
Yeah, it helps me enormously. I think if you live too far in the past, you just end up depressed, and if you look too far in the future, you end up anxious. So just be the best version of yourself today, and you can't go too far wrong.
That's exactly it, mate. And that's where we're at, to be honest. It's just a case of going, right, are we pretty content right now? In certain areas, you say yes. In other areas, no. Well, what steps can I do to get me closer towards a better today? Because then if I keep doing that, and I know it's boring, and I know it's a cliche of, day by day and 1% better and brick by brick, and we've all heard it, we've all said it before, but it's because it's true. So, if you just keep looking after yourself today, that's all you need to worry about, because not to sound all woo-woo, this is just fact. Tomorrow does not exist. And then people go, oh, yeah, okay, I've heard that one before. So what, do you just not plan for anything? Well, no, of course I do. Of course I still plan to go on holiday, and I'm not just waking up every day like it's an accident. But every person that you love that has passed away thought they had a tomorrow until they didn't. So tomorrow is just today again. And that's the methodology and ethos that I am still working on every single day to appreciate. And I don't have this Zen philosophy of not feeling any emotion or anything like that. Far from it. But I'm doing my best every day to get towards that sense of inner peace and acceptance and living in the present as much as I can.
Yeah, I love it. Just being the best version of yourself every day. The best husband, the best father, the best businessman, the best friend, whatever's relevant, fill in the blank. I'll be the best whatever today. And I think you can't go too far wrong. Yeah. You mentioned earlier as well, you're running some retreats as well. So tell us a little bit about those in case anyone's listening and they think, well, that sounds right up my street?
Yeah, it's the best thing that we offer, to be honest with you. So we typically do one a year. We haven't, we've got one booked in for this year, but that was off the back of the attendees last year. So they loved it so much that in the WhatsApp chat that we start with all the guys, so we got back and the energy was obviously really high because I've been away for 4 days, and I'll give a bit more context in a second. And one of them just said, round 2, like jokingly, and then everyone was like, yeah, let's do it. So then I was like, well, I'm not just going to rest on this. I said, seriously, guys, do you want to do a round 2? And they were like, absolutely. Like, okay. So we rebooked it for May this year, and they all just paid like within the next sort of few days. So that's crazy. So that was amazing. Now, it's 4 days of a truly immersive experience where you get rid of all the bullshit that's held you back. So it's not a trauma dumping weekend. That's not what this is about. However, we do get into the depths of it a little bit to ensure that we can create that compelling future, but only if you get rid of the narrative that's held you back to this point. So while we do ice baths and healthy food and 0% beers and meditation, walks in nature, talks around the campfire, all that good stuff, we also look to build the future in goal setting with the strategy that we use that gives you about a 90% chance of achievement with any goal, which is really, really beneficial. And yeah, it's a great time to disconnect. It's not a complete ban on tech. You don't throw your phone into a safe or anything, but we all leave our phones in our rooms. We have a bit of downtime in the afternoon to check in with families and businesses and friends and whatnot. But yeah, it's an experience like nothing that I've seen before. And I know that sounds quite biased because I'm the one that hosts it, but people just come out different men. It's quite remarkable, really. And it's not a case of, oh, I went to a public speaking gig and I feel pumped up now. It's like a hard wiring and a changing of the mind just within a 4-day period. Even since September last year, we've had people losing 3 stone. We've had someone that's not touched a drop of alcohol since before the retreat up until now. So, 5 months going strong. Somebody else has repaired the relationship when they were filing for divorce only 2 weeks before the retreat, etc., etc. So the changes that are made on those weekends are really, quite remarkable. And for anyone that wants a great experience and a bit of a kick up the arse, but also time away, I'm your man.
Amazing. Yeah. That's some fantastic wins there. And I'm sure there were more.
Yeah. They're always hosted we do it at the same venue in Bedale in North Yorkshire, but we're looking at expanding out across Europe. We've got a big plan for that. We want to be going to the likes of the Algarve and doing a weekend out there because that's my favorite place on the planet. And yeah, so there's big plans there, mate, for sure. But they are absolutely awesome.
Nice. Well, as soon as you've got dates, let us know, and we'll get that out to all of our listeners as well, and out to our email list. If anyone's watching and they think, I've just got to work with Adam and A-Game, where should they find you?
Oh, mate, there's plenty of different places to go. So I would probably say our website, agameconsultancy.com, is a good place. On LinkedIn as well, if you search Adam Smith. I know I've got a very common name, but I also post on there quite regularly, so hopefully it should come up. Instagram, I'm on there as Adam Smith _A-Game, and we have a podcast as well, which is A-Game Unfiltered. So yeah, loads of different ways to find me. Brilliant.
Adam, well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for joining us today. Your retreat sounds fantastic. I might have to go on one of those myself. But I'll let you carry on the rest of your day.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, mate.
Take care.